Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and to me going over my biggest winners and losers of NBA free agency day one. We're going over 10 winners and losers. Not gonna lie, most of the teams on this list are winners. I only came up with two losers. We've got two losers and 8 winners to go over. Let's start off with the losers. And funny enough, the two losers are two of the most accomplished teams in the NBA. The Lakers and the Celtics are the two teams I'm going with losers. The Celtics lost Luke Cornett, a guy who was a key piece for their team, great rebounder, great shot blocker, solid scorer. Just played a great role off the bench for the Celtics team in low minutes. And they lost in the Spurs of the day. It also seems like they're about to lose Al Horford. And it's not been a great offseason for the Celtics team so far. But, they did what they had to do of getting, under the second apron when trading away guys like Drew Holiday and Porzingis, which were moves I think were the right moves to make. But then it's moves like losing Luke Cornett and then, not being able to bring back Al Horford that hurts you. I get that Horford thing. I think he probably wants to go try to win another championship maybe and call himself a multi-NBA champion, and that there's not a great chance of that with Boston. I would have loved to have seen him retire with Boston. Potentially should have retired after they won it all, but just has not been a great offseason for the Celtics. Then I look at the Lakers. The Lakers, there was two big men that they were really interested in and that they were planning to sign one or the other in Brook Lopez and Clint Capella. Clint Capella signed a 3-year, $21 million deal today with the Rockets to go back to Houston. And then Brook Lopez signed in LA, but with the Clippers. No one saw that coming. At least I didn't. And so I thought Luke Lopez was a lock to go to the Lakers. And so they didn't get either one of those guys. And now it seems like, okay, it's either DeAndre Ayton goes to the Lakers and teams up with Luka and LeBron, or the Lakers might be screwed because there's all these guys that, there were interested in. Like, what are the Lakers going to do at the center position if there is no DeAndre Ayton? He goes elsewhere. I think the only team that I would look at right now that has a good chance of taking DeAndre Ayton away from the Lakers is the Charlotte Hornets. They're in need of a center right now. I think it's probably the Lakers. It's the Lakers. The getting DeAndre Ayton is the Lakers' job to win. I mean, the Lakers are in position to win the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes. We'll see if it happens. He can't sign until Wednesday, so it'll be a couple days. So the Lakers might not make a big move at the center position for a couple days because he's still got 2 more days until because he can't sign until late on Wednesday. So you've got all tomorrow and most of Wednesday until you might see the Lakers make their big move at center. But Jake LaRivia, I think, is a solid signing. Good shooter. I think it's a good shooter to pair next to Luka. But they definitely lost some guys that they wanted to get. I think, honestly, here's a prediction that I'm going to make for the Lakers. Potentially, there was a report that Dorian Finney-Smith, if Dorian Finney-Smith left the Lakers, which is another reason why I got them in the loser column, they would potentially go after D'Anthony Melton, who's coming off an injury. We'll see if that's a move that could happen tomorrow. I'm predicting there's a solid chance D'Anthony Melton ends up in LA tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But the Lakers and the Celtics are my two losers. Let's get to the winners though. I'm starting off with the team that Dorian Finney-Smith left the Lakers for, and that's the Houston Rockets. They did a great job. They got two guys who very well could have ended up on the Lakers next season. Dorian Finney-Smith, 4-year, $53 million deal. As a Rockets fan, I am so excited for this deal. Look, the Rockets, I know they added in Kevin Durant. That's great. They got their score. Adding in Kevin Durant fixes their scorer, having a problem of not having a closer and a number one scorer. It fixes those issues. But to me, it doesn't really fix the three-point issues. It definitely helps it. We're talking about a 43% three-point shooter in Kevin Durant. But one guy doesn't fix the Houston Rockets being a bottom three-point shooting team. And especially when you're giving up Dylan Brooks, who was almost 40%er, Jalen Green, who was 36%. It doesn't really, it just kind of, I think it makes the Rockets better from three, but it doesn't take them to where I think you want them to be. And Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, does. Dorian Finney-Smith and Kevin Durant and it's two guys that are the 3-point. You've got it, the 3-point shot that can knock down threes for you, is what takes this team over to the top. And I love it. And then you also add in the fact that he is great defensively, great defender. The Kevin Durant trade was great for the Rockets, but Dillon Brooks played a great role for this Rockets team defensively, and they lost that. Dorian Finney-Smith can help fill that void. I love this signing for the Rockets. And then the other thing I will note is that adding in Dorian Finney-Smith, a great shooter, and then Kevin Durant, a great shooter as well. I've always said, look, the thing that people compare Alperen Sengun with the player he is to Nikola Jokic. The one thing he is missing as a player is great shooters around him to become a great facilitator. Like you saw Nikola Jokic, Nikola Jokic became a better facilitator when Michael Porter Jr. started to develop more and they traded for Aaron Gordon. He became a better facilitator and a better passer. I think the Rockets adding in Dorian Finney-Smith and Kevin Durant, sure, they might be a little bit more developed and played a lot more than Michael Porter Jr. was in the 2019-20 season, 2020-21 season when he started to play well, which was the 2020-21 season, 2021-22 season, or when they added Aaron Gordon in the 2020-21 season. Durant and Dorian Finney-Smith have played a lot more than Gordon or MPJ did at the time that the Nuggets added them in. But these are two guys that are great shooters. Alperen Sengun is very underrated of how good of a passer and facilitator he is. And the way he plays is compared to Nikola Jokic. And adding in Finney-Smith and Durant are the ways of potentially, helping this Rockets team get to the point where you're trying to be, a great turn Sengun into not just the great scorer and rebounder, but the great facilitator as well. Like you've seen Nikola Jokic jump into being a walking triple-double. That's what could potentially help Sengun get to that level, is adding shooters around him with Finney-Smith and Durant. But then you can also add in the factor of adding in Clint Capella. You've got three elite centers who are really starting caliber centers: Capella, Adams, and Sengun. I love what the Rockets did today. Another thing I really love what they did today was the Atlanta Hawks. I really like the addition of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, great defender, great shooter. Add his defense next to Dyson Daniels. Then Luke Kennard, 1 year, $11 million. We're talking about a great three-point shooter here. He's in 8 seasons, only had 2 seasons where he's not 40% from 3, 44% in his career. They're building great defense and shooting around Trae Young, and they're doing exactly what Trae Young wanted. And they're building themselves to be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. The Dallas Mavericks are another winner for me. I think adding in a replacement, a sub-in for Kyrie Irving, and that sub-in and replacement for the first 2-3 months, most likely 3.5 months of the season, being a former all-star who has been known to be a good three-point shooter. I know there were struggles this past season for him, but you look at it, and to get a former all-star that has that reputation, and you massively needed to bring in a point guard, so you needed it, and this player's got. He's got, chemistry with Max Christie and Anthony Davis playing in Los Angeles. D'Angelo Russell is a great addition for the Dallas Mavericks. I think he's going to fit really well. He's also a guy that you can put on the floor with Kyrie Irving when he gets back as well. You can put Russell at the 2 if you want to with his shooting ability. It's something I don't think the Mavs might do, but it's something you can do. Another one I'm going to throw in is the Denver Nuggets. I really love what the Nuggets did today. I'm throwing in the Cam Johnson MPJ trade in there as well, because the Cam Johnson MPJ trade as well. The MPJ Cam trade helps the Nuggets make other moves in free agency. It helped them get the Bruce Brown deal done, which is great for them to bring back Bruce Brown. It's going to help them make other signings this free agency, because it saves them a lot of money. It gets them back to the first apron. That's why I love that trade for the Nuggets, is it helps them make more moves in free agency. They brought back Bruce Brown. I think there are other free agency moves to come for the Nuggets to try to build their bench, which was one of their weaknesses this season. I'm throwing in the Orlando Magic as a winner today. It was only one signing, but it was Tyus Jones. The Magic desperately needed a point guard. And one thing the Magic were really bad with, I talked about this for the Rockets, is they really need three-point shooting. The Magic are in this category as well. Another team that's really good defensively, but poor three-point shooting. And the Magic were worse than the Rockets. The Magic, great defensively, bad three-point shooting. They've done a great job adding in three-point shooters, adding in 40% three-point shooters, Desmond Bane and Jace Richardson in the early part of the offseason in the draft and trade world. And now they've added in another 40% three-point shooter, and they've done it through all aspects of the offseason, draft, free agency, and trade with Tyus Jones. 1 year, $7 million deal, adding in a guy who's shot over 41% from three in the last 2 seasons and is also really good facilitating. I love this addition for the Magic. Then I've got the Knicks as well. Knicks picked up Jordan Clarkson, former Sixth Man of the Year winner. The Knicks, what have been their weakness in the past years with Tom Thibodeau having a bench, and they fixed that today, bringing in Jordan Clarkson. I think there are more moves to come. Al Horford and Russell Westbrook are guys that I mentioned. The Knicks are going to continue to build out their bench, I believe, but this is the way to start it with a former Sixth Man of the Year winner. I've also got the Clippers mentioned as a winner. I really love the addition of Brook Lopez, pairing a rim protector with, Ivica Zubac, great three-point shooter as well. I think with such a good facilitator like James Harden, him and Brook Lopez could mix well next to each other. And then my final winner is the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies locked in Jaren Jackson Jr.'s extension. I think was great that they re-signed Santi Aldama. You did not want to lose. You didn't want to lose another good shooter in Santi Aldama when you've already lost Luke Kennard and Desmond Bane. So, but you brought back Santi Aldama, who was a great scorer off the bench for them. But this was the move I love the most: bringing in Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome averaged 13 points per game and shot 44% from three last year, and was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate, and somehow got less than $10 million a year. A little bit over $9 million a year for Ty Jerome. This is such an underrated signing for the Memphis Grizzlies to bring in Ty Jerome. I love this deal for them. You guys let me know your thoughts on day one of NBA free agency. Those are my winners and my losers. I know it's really mainly winners and then 2 losers, but you guys give me your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out.